Imagine a world where stepping outside meant facing a creature that could crush you in an instant. 1,000,000 years ago, Earth was ruled by giants, and humanity was fragile.
Every rustle in the bushes, every shadow, could be a prehistoric predator.
Saber-toothed cats, dire wolves, cave bears, the world was teeming with colossal threats.
For early humans, daily life was a brutal struggle for survival. Their very existence hung by a thread. Conventional hunting was risky. Against such power, spears were often not enough. Hunger was a constant companion. A desperate need drove them to innovate. Their ingenuity sparked. The critical need for food and protection sparked unparalleled innovation.
Resourcefulness was key. With only natural materials, they conceived of engineering marvels. This video unveils the almost unbelievable strategies. Humanity's future hinged on these traps. Winter's icy grip tightened. With every passing day, hunger became a more formidable enemy.
Unable to hunt, they turned to scavenging, hoping to steal from a mightier predator. They found a prize, but it was already claimed by the bone crushers of the Ice Age. The cave hyena. A predator of immense power, and it did not share its kills. Outnumbered and outmatched, they could only watch, their own hunger a silent scream. A wall of teeth and bone. A clear message. This feast was not for them. Defeated without a fight. Another path to survival, blocked by a greater power. Hunting had failed. Scavenging had failed. They needed a new way. They had to fight smarter.
And then, an idea. Not to chase the prey, but to make the prey come to them.
To use the land itself as a weapon. This was the dawn of primitive engineering.
The plan was ambitious. To dig a grave for a giant, using only their hands and simple tools. The first challenge, the unforgetting, frozen earth. A barrier that had to be broken by sheer will. It was a community effort. Every hand, from the strongest hunter to the smallest child, helped to dig.
Day after day, they toiled. A monumental feat of endurance, a testament to their shared purpose. The pit was not just a hole, but a weapon. Its floor was lined with sharpened stakes, a deadly surprise.
A hidden forest of spears, waiting silently in the darkness for the weight of a giant.
The most important step, the illusion. To hide the deadly pit beneath a fragile skin of branches and leaves. They erased their work from sight, leaving only a perfectly disguised patch of ground. The trap was set.
Their first great work of engineering was complete. A hidden wound in the earth, waiting for its victim.
And so they waited. For the right moment, for the right prey, for the trap to spring.
A single pitfall trap wasn't enough. For the truly colossal, they needed a different kind of weapon.
They sought a fallen giant to slay another. A massive log, a weapon of raw, crushing force.
This was the Deadfall trap. A weapon harnessing gravity's power, built for giants. Moving such mass was an epic task. A testament to cooperative strength and sheer will.
A crushing weight, suspended precariously. The raw power of the trap was tangible. The trigger was crucial. Crafted from nature's own strength, strong, pliable vines.
Each strand, each twist, was a matter of life and death. No room for error.
Precision carving for a delicate balance. a complex mechanism born of observation.
Knowledge passed down. The physics of release, taught through meticulous demonstration.
The Deadfall, a testament to their ingenuity. Another tool in humanity's fight for survival.
The final piece, the tripwire. A single, taut vine, the trigger for an avalanche of wood.
A hair trigger. The slightest touch would unleash the full, crushing power of the trap.
The Deadfall was armed. A silent, wooden guillotine, waiting in the forest. But not all traps were for titans. For smaller, faster prey, they needed a different kind of ingenuity.
They harnessed the living energy of the forest itself, turning a young tree into a powerful spring.
A delicate trigger, holding back the tree's immense power, waiting for the slightest touch. A hidden loop of sinew, the noose perfectly disguised, waiting for a careless step.
They seeded their territory with these small, clever traps. A network of silent, patient hunters.
The snare, a masterpiece of lethal physics, was brutally effective for their daily needs. Their world was now a weapon. Every path, every shadow held a hidden, human-made danger.
The traps were set, but the land was empty. Hunger once again became their greatest foe. They could not wait for the prey. They would bring the prey to the trap. A hunt of a new kind. Their search was for a giant. A beast so large, only their ingenuity could bring it down. A lone bull mammoth. A mountain of flesh and fury. The perfect victim for their trap. The plan was not to attack, but to herd. To become a river of fear, guiding the giant to its doom. They moved like wolves, a silent pincer movement, their target the unsuspecting titan.
The trap was sprung, a wall of sound and fire, designed to create a single path of escape.
The giant panicked.
They guided its panic, shaping its fear, turning the beast into an arrow aimed at their own target.
The great hunt had begun. A chase not to kill, but to lead a giant to its grave. The chase was a marathon of terror, a desperate herding of a mountain of flesh.
They pushed their bodies to the absolute limit, a desperate race against their own exhaustion. The mammoth's fear was a weapon of pure, indiscriminate destruction, a force of nature. Controlling a panicked giant was a deadly art. A single misstep meant instant death. Their coordination was their only rein on the beast's terror, guiding its path with fire and fear. The final approach. The valley itself became part of the trap, its walls funneling the giant to its doom.
They let it run, its own weight and speed now the final, crucial part of their plan.
The giant ran, blind to the human ingenuity that lay hidden beneath a fragile layer of snow.
The moment of truth. A ton of flesh and bone, meeting a fragile lattice of sticks and hope. The earth opened its jaws. The first trap was sprung.
A thunderous crash. The colossal beast plunged into the trap, its panicked screams echoing.
Impaled and enraged, the pit, a cage of pain, held the giant captive, but not defeated. The trap's success was undeniable, but the sound of the beast's fury was a reminder of its power.
Danger still loomed. A wounded giant was far more unpredictable, far more lethal.
Its desperate strength threatened to overcome the trap. The ground itself groaned under its fury. They couldn't let it escape. But a direct kill was still too risked. The plan was to drive it on. They inflicted pain with precision, forcing the Leviathan to instinctively recoil from the agonizing jabs. The pressure mounted. The mighty beast, slowly but surely, was being guided by fear and pain.
Its strength was immense. The trap held, but barely, as the giant fought for its life.
A final, calculated risk, creating an escape that led only to another, greater doom.
Goaded and enraged, the giant took the bait. An escape route crafted by its enemy. They watched it pass, a living earthquake. Their plan was in motion. The trap was set. Blinded by pain and panic, it saw only the path ahead, the promise of freedom. But this path did not lead to freedom. It led to the final, crushing act of their plan. A single, fragile vine. The linchpin of their entire, audacious strategy.
The trap is sprung. A single touch, unleashing a world of pain from above.
The trigger fails. The delicate balance is broken. Gravity is unleashed.
From above, a wooden mountain falls, a final, crushing blow from the clever apes. A final moment of terror. The giant, finally, truly, trapped.
The deadfall finds its mark. The giant is felled. The hunter becomes the hunted.
The thunder of the deadfall faded into a stunned, breathless silence. They had done the impossible.
The giant was not dead, but trapped. A wounded, thrashing titan, still immensely dangerous.
The final act!
To end the great beast's suffering and to secure their prize required one last act of courage.
They approached the dying giant with caution and respect. A final, deadly dance between hunter and prey.
Their target was not a monster, but a life. The final blows had to be swift, precise, and merciful. The final blows were delivered as one, a swift, merciful end to the giant's struggle.
And then, silence. The great heart of the mammoth was still. The epic battle was finally over.
A moment of respect. A silent thanks to the spirit of the great beast whose life would now sustain their own.
And then, the joy. The overwhelming, unbelievable reality of their triumph. They had done the impossible!
The hunter had become the hunted. A new era had begun. An era of human ingenuity.
The entire clan worked as O to claim the spoils of their great victory. A mountain of meat for a starving people. They returned not lust with food, but with a new future. The shadow of winter had been banished.
A great feast, a celebration of life. For the first time in a long time, no one was hungry.
For the young, it was a miracle. A promise of strength. A future free from starvation.
But their prize was more than meat. The mammoth's bones and tusks were a treasure trove of new materials. From the giant's own bones, they crafted superior weapons. A new generation of tools was born.
The mammoth's hide gave them warmth. Its bones gave them art. Their enemy had become their greatest benefactor.
The story of their great hunt became a legend, a teaching tool, a cornerstone of their culture.
Their greatest story was now their greatest art, a permanent record of their ingenuity and their courage.
They had done more than survive. They had created a new world for themselves, built on a foundation of intellect.
Seasons turned. The clan's great hunt gave them not just a single meal, but lasting security. The knowledge of the trap was passed down, becoming a cornerstone of their survival.
They didn't just copy the past, they improved upon it.
Innovation became their new instinct.
The giant's skull became a warning, a silent declaration of their power and their claim to this land. Even the great predators learned to respect their borders. This was a land of clever, dangerous apes. The lessons learned from these primal battles shaped human intelligence and cooperation.
Their survival against impossible odds speaks volumes about human adaptability and resilience.
This isn't just history. It's a testament to the enduring human spirit.
These early engineering principles laid the foundations for all that would follow. A reflection on the enduring spirit of human ingenuity in the face of overwhelming odds.